You've been played. Not just misled, carefully, convincingly played. Every survival expert, every prepper channel, every tactical influencer flashing discount codes has been feeding you the same polished illusion. That massive 70-pound bug-out bag? Packed with 50 must-have items? They call it readiness. I call it a slow, exhausting way to lose. Because here's the part they never say out loud. When everything collapses, when power dies, supply chains snap, and your neighborhood stops pretending to be civilized, the guy carrying the heaviest pack becomes the easiest target, or the first to fall behind. He's slower, louder, noticeable. And worst of all, he's tied to gear that becomes dead weight the moment his body gives up. And bodies do give up. Faster than you think. The survival industry is selling you weekend camping fantasies. I'm talking about something else entirely. Collapse doesn't care about comfort. It punishes excess. Most of those 50 items? Redundant. Decorative. Useless when movement becomes life and hesitation becomes death. But here's the hook, and the part most people never hear. There are only 7 things that actually matter. 7 tools. Not items, capabilities. And the last 2? The ones nobody talks about? Those are the ones that quietly decide who makes it and who disappears. They're ignored because they're not flashy. They don't look good on camera. But they work. This isn't about what feels smart. It's about what still works when everything else stops. Before we get into them, you need to understand the only rule that survives when the world doesn't. I call it the multiplier rule. And it's brutal. If something only does one job, it's already a liability. That's it. No exceptions. No sentimental attachments. Single-use gear is a luxury from a world that no longer exists. When your entire survival system is strapped to your back, every ounce has to earn its place. At least 3 critical functions, minimum. Not nice to have. Not just in case. Essential. You're not packing tools. You're packing options. Think about it like this. In your old life, you had a kitchen full of specialized gadgets because you had space, time, and stability. Garlic press. Lemon zester. Avocado slicer. Now you have one blade. And that blade better replace everything. Cooking. Building. Defending. Surviving. Every item I'm about to show you isn't just useful, it multiplies your chances. Because in collapse, weight is your enemy, and versatility is the only currency left. Forget the noise. This is the signal. Let's begin. Item 1, the spark that decides if you live through the night. Here's the truth nobody dramatizes enough. You're not dying from hunger first. Not thirst. Not violence. You're dying from cold. Hypothermia doesn't wait days. It doesn't negotiate. In wet, cold conditions, you've got maybe 90 minutes before your body starts shutting down. Your hands fail first. Then your thinking. Then your will. And here's the cruel part. You probably think you're prepared. A lighter. Waterproof matches. Maybe a magnesium striker from some ultimate survival kit. None of it is enough. Lighters run dry. Matches fail when you need them most. And that cheap striker? It barely works when you're calm, let alone when your hands are shaking and numb. You don't need fire later. You need it immediately, in the worst moment of your life. The answer? The infinite spark. A real ferrocerium rod. Thick, durable, built to last, not some keychain toy. Because this one tool gives you something the others don't. Certainty. 15,000 strikes. Wet, frozen, shaking, it doesn't care. It throws sparks at 3,000 degrees. Enough to ignite life when everything around you is trying to end it. But here's the twist most people miss. Fire isn't just physical. It's psychological. That first flame in darkness? It tells your brain you're still in control. And in collapse, control is everything. But fire alone won't save you. You can survive the night. Boil water. Stay warm for now. But fire is just one piece of a system. Because after fire comes the next countdown. Item 2, the one thing your body fails without faster than you expect. Everyone quotes the rule of 3s. 3 minutes without air. 3 hours without shelter. 3 days without water. Sounds comforting, right? It's misleading. In reality, after 24 hours without water, you're not dead. But you're finished. Your thinking slows. Your decisions degrade. And one bad decision is all it takes. So you bought a fancy filter straw. Maybe something branded, expensive, reassuring. But what happens when it clogs? Freezes? Or when you actually need to carry water instead of drinking it on the spot? Now it's just dead plastic. Tablets? Slow. Limited. Temporary. You need something older. Simpler. Unbreakable. Boiling certainty. A single-wall stainless steel bottle. Not insulated. Not plastic. Not aluminum. Steel. Because fire plus steel equals absolute reliability. Boiling water doesn't guess. It doesn't filter. It eliminates every pathogen. Every time. And suddenly, that bottle becomes more than just a container. It's your purifier. Your cooking pot. Your heat source at night. Even your last resort weapon. One item, 5 rolls. That's survival. But even with fire and water, you're still exposed. Because the real enemy isn't thirst. It's the environment. Item 3, the most underestimated tool in survival. Everyone brings a tent. Seems logical. Until it isn't. A tent is heavy, visible, fragile, and worst of all, limited. It does one job. And in collapse, one job isn't enough. It's also a signal. A bright, obvious announcement that says, there's someone here, with gear worth taking. That's not shelter. That's bait. What you need instead is something that adapts. Something invisible. Something that becomes whatever the situation demands. A tarp. Simple. Silent. Deadly effective. Because a tarp isn't just shelter. It's structure. It's camouflage. It's water collection. It's insulation. It's mobility. It becomes whatever keeps you alive next. And that flexibility? That's what most people never understand. Survival isn't about having the best gear. It's about having gear that changes with the problem. But a tarp is useless without one thing. The ability to shape your environment. Item 4, the one blade that replaces everything else. This debate has wasted years. Hatchet. Machete. Folding knife. Multi-tool. All wrong. Too heavy. Too fragile. Too limited. You don't need options. You need certainty. A single, fixed blade, full-tang carbon steel knife. That's it. Because this isn't about convenience. It's about reliability under abuse. This blade doesn't fold. Doesn't snap. Doesn't fail. You can split wood with it. Build shelter. Process food. Defend yourself. And here's the uncomfortable truth. In a real collapse, that last function matters more than people like to admit. Because eventually, someone will want what you have. But even the best tool is useless without something to work with. And this is where most people make a critical mistake. Item 5, the cordage that actually works. Everyone grabs paracord. Because everyone else does. But paracord stretches. Slips. Degrades. Feels strong, until it isn't. What you need is what professionals use. Bank line. Stronger. Thinner. More reliable. It holds. It grips. It survives. And suddenly you're not just tying things. You're building systems. Shelter. Traps. Repairs. Fishing. One spool, endless solutions. But here's the quiet threat no one prepares for. Moisture. Not the kind you drink. The kind that ruins everything. Item 6, the invisible advantage. Everything gets wet. Eventually. And when it does, your system starts collapsing. Clothes lose warmth. Fire won't start. Gear fails. And you start losing heat faster than your body can replace it. This is where most people fail quietly. Because they never planned for it. The solution? Contractor bags. Simple. Cheap. Ignored. And unbelievably powerful. They waterproof your entire system. Turn into rain gear. Carry water. Insulate. Signal. Protect. They don't look impressive. But they outperform half the gear people waste money on. And finally, the truth no one wants to face. Everything breaks. Item 7, the one thing that keeps everything else alive. Your gear will fail. That's not a possibility. That's a guarantee. And when it happens, you either fix it, or you start losing capability piece by piece. The answer? Duct tape. Not flashy. Not exciting. But brutally effective. It patches. Seals. Binds. Reinforces. It keeps systems running when they should have failed. And in a world with no replacements, that makes it priceless. And that's it. 7 items. But here's the twist most people miss completely. It's not the gear. It never was. It's how you think. Because the real advantage isn't what you carry. It's how you combine it. How you look at 3 simple items and see 10 different solutions. That's the difference. Not strength. Not luck. Not gear. Thinking. So practice. Break things. Fix them. Build systems. Because when it happens, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall to the level of your preparation. Stay sharp.